Hello, this is Joshua from Gongs Unlimited, here with an assembly process tutorial on the pure copper pyramid in the Nubian proportion, 4 foot. So every bit of it is pure copper, and it comes with 8 copper tubes, 4 long tubes and 4 shorter tubes, 4 corner connectors that are pure copper, and the connector crown, pure copper, socket wrench, hex wrench, a little screw for the top, and a compass. So the first thing will be these copper connectors, which are precisely milled to the exact Nubian proportion, the angles. There'll be 2, they're your corners, and then the angle that is for the vertical diagonal part of the pyramid. When you get this, there's 3, it connects 3 tubes to 1 corner. So there'll be 3 set screws inside that you tighten and loosen with the hex wrench. They're probably set in more than you want when you open this. So you'll want to come in and make sure that you back out the set screw a little bit so that the hole that receives the tube is completely clear. You'll see you'll probably have received it with the set screw that comes in. That's how it locks in the tube. You don't want it to be visible when you start this so that your tube can slide in and out freely. So go through and loosen each of the set screws, not too far because you want them to be there, but loosen them so the hole that receives the tube is free and clear. 4 of those. Set that aside. And you want to start with the 4 smaller tubes. The smaller in length tubes are the foot foundation of the pyramid. So I'm going to take those 4, put 2 on each side of me, 1 in front, and then each of those 4 corner connectors will receive those corners. And I'll lay this out before I connect anything. Parts, pieces. Get everything close and ready. And then just slide the tube into the connector. Just push and twist, and it fits in real nice and just stops at the end. I'm not going to tighten it until I get all of them in together. And make sure you hear it go in, and you can feel that it's in all the way. It doesn't go very far, but you'll know when it's all the way set into the connector. And I'm putting them all in loose. I'll come back to tighten. All right, now they're all in. I'll come back to the first one and double check that they're in all the way, both sides, and then tighten that set screw with this hex wrench. And just turn it in until it hits that copper tube, and then maybe give it 1 tight. Don't go too far, it's just enough to stop it from turning. And I'll go around. Again, make sure that it's all the way in, both angles, both right angles. Double check that it's still in. Bring the set screw down. Set screw down. And give it a little tight. And now the foundation square of the pyramid is locked in. And while I'm here, on each one of these, you want to make sure that the set screw that'll receive the diagonal upward tube is backed out, so it's not sticking out on the inside of the connector. Make sure each of them, double check they're all free and clear. free and clear. Set that down, and then the 4 longer tubes can go right in to that connector holding the Nubian proportion. And so I've set it in, and the connector itself can actually hold the tube up close to the angle it needs to be. It wouldn't hurt to have a second hand hold things up for you, but it's not necessary because these heavy, precisely milled connectors do all the holding for you. So I want to make sure that I set the tube all the way into the connector and just let it float loosely at the top. And when I put these in, I'm not forcing anything. I'm aligning it. It's not a pushing or a forcing, it's an aligning. So I bring it into the angle I think it is, and then bring the other tip to the others, and then I kind of turn it and wiggle it back and forth until it just slides into place. It finds its way in. I don't force it in at all. Those are in. I'm not going to tighten that until I get the top crown connector on, which is the top of the pyramid. And the top connector has this bolt. It's a pressure fit bolt. So it's a bolt that'll wedge in to hold everything together. I'm taking that out. And I'm gonna set that aside with the wrench to come back. So I have the top connector with the four precisely angled holes to receive the tubes. And I'm gonna set that up here. I found that it works best to find 2 sides that are next to each other and start with the 2 and just set them into the holes where they're supposed to go. And I start to move this back and forth until I get the right angle, so they just kind of slide in and I'm not forcing anything again. And then move it over this way, so it kind of tipped up, and bring this in. And once I have all 4 almost in or kind of leaning on their holes, I just give this a little twist up here and kind of shake it in. And it finds its way into the tubes, rather than forcing one side or the other or frustrating yourself with getting one all the way in and then another one not getting the right angle. You want them to all go into the same kind of flow. So then I just wiggle it down. And then to lock those in, we use that angled pressure fit bolt, which goes in. Start it with my hand. And once it's started, comes with this fantastic little socket wrench. And that just goes in until you feel it get tight, and then you can tighten it, which is pushing that rubber wedged piece up against all 4 of those, and that locks the pieces in, because the connector up here is not very deep. This is actually what holds those tubes into that precise angle. And that's tight. And there's also a hook, and this is an optional hook that comes with the kit, this little hook. But this will screw right into the bottom of that bolt. And this hook is to hang something from the inside. If you wanted to hang a chime or anything from the top of the pyramid while you use it, that's what this is for. And that just screws right in to the threads on the top of that bolt. And then lastly, come back down to the 4 corners and lock in those set screws that hold that. So I'm gonna add a little pressure to make sure it's in. Knowing that it's in, come from the side and just turn that set screw tight. Make sure it's in. And tight. And it doesn't take, it's only a couple turns or a half turn to get it locked in. now everything is locked in to these precisely milled connectors to that Nubian proportion, a Nubian angle, and the pyramid is now a solid frame form. So lastly, using the compass that comes with your pyramid, or your phone, this would be to align the pyramid on the global axes to have a north-facing pole and then an east-west facing pole. So I'm going to sit in the center of the pyramid, reference my compass here to the north, and just align to the north-south and the east-west. And there's a fantastic copper, 100% copper pyramid, Nubian proportion. Thank you.